The reason I have always been a proud American is because I knew my family history. I knew that my family had participated in the Revolutionary War. I knew that that was a very important moment in history, and that we as the Caesar family and Black Americans were there from the very beginning of the country.
As an African American, tracing one's lineage back beyond a few generations can often feel like grasping at shadows. But for my family, it's a different story altogether. It all began with our progenitor, Rachel Caesar. Our roots trace back to her. She was born in 1699 and was a remarkable woman, a free indigenous woman who we believe to be a part of the formidable Pequot tribe. Her longevity was as remarkable as her spirit, living a full century. During that time period was tough. She survived both the Pequot and King Philip's War until her passing in 1799. As a Pequot woman, her legacy was passing down freedom to her son, Timothy. Timothy inherited more than just her freedom, because his mother was free, so was he. His life literally took a revolutionary turn when he put on the uniform of a soldier, fighting valiantly in the Revolutionary War under the command of General George Washington. I proudly think of my ancestor helped build the fortifications at West Point. The torch of freedom next passed to his son, Titus, whose pioneering spirit led the family to Salisbury, Connecticut, where generations will contribute to the building of this community. His son, George, was a market man, working a number of jobs who defied the odds of his time, owning valuable real estate worth $800, a fortune for a black man in those days. One of my favorite stories is George's broadside combining a 4th of July celebration along with passing of the 15th Amendment. The invitation was open to everyone. The text read, "White spectators of respectability will be tolerated." Later, his land became a part of what is now known as the Appalachian Trail. The remnants of his home are still found along this path. With each passing generation, the Caesars carved their mark on the landscape of America. George's son, Ward, followed in his father's footsteps as an entrepreneur, selling fish and other goods, weaving himself into the fabric of the community of Sharon. He was an avid fisherman, and every time I look at the Housatonic River, I imagine him landing a nice rainbow trout. Ward's daughter, Matilda Caesar Williams, is my 3 times great-grandmother. She and her brother Arthur worked at the Troutbeck Estate for the Spingarn family, where they had a front seat for the birth of the NAACP and the art of the Harlem Renaissance. Matilda worked in the main house, and her brother was a chauffeur for the family. It takes my breath away to imagine my uncle, Arthur, ferrying Langston Hughes from Mosaic train station to the Troutbeck. Ray was my last line directly to the Caesars, to our Salisbury Sharon home. Before she left, she became an administrator for an HBCU, but it was my grandmother, Catherine Overton, and her unyielding spirit and unwavering determination that gave life into these ancestral tales. It was her dogged determination that connected us to a class at Salisbury School, whose students were trying to uncover history like this. One of her legacies was their collaboration on a remarkable documentary called Coloring Our Past, and that connection has led to me. I'm currently a senior at Salisbury. I'm determined that our legacy as people who contributed to this area are not forgotten, and this film is an attempt to share the mantle of storytelling with my mom, Katrina Moore, the current guardian of our family's legacy. Remembering is powerful. Attending school in the land of my ancestors, walking the grounds at the Caesar Brook campsite and the halls of Troutbeck feels like I'm walking a familiar path. Because it's not just about preserving the legacy of those who came before us, it's about creating our own legacy for the future generations after us. We need to examine our roots in order to ensure the voices of our ancestors are heard, their legacy celebrated, and their memory cherished for generations to come.